To make use of Songboss's online request system, you can purchase a subscription from the Songboss website. Once you have the account and the key, we can configure this through settings. We'll have a rig name, and for this demonstration, I've created an account called Demo Account. The key is DemKey1 for this particular demonstration. To check that the details are correct, you click to Test button, and you can see the result is that it has passed. So it is communicating with the server. Now when we go to requests, we can receive requests, but first the server needs to be in sync with our local library. So when people go online to search for songs, they need to know what songs you have. So down here in red, you can see that the online songbook is not synchronized because it is red. To synchronize the server with our local account, we click on that. Now that was very quick because it was a very small library that we're doing the demonstration with, but a very large library may take a minute or two to synchronize fully with the server. So now that that is synchronized with the server, patrons can use their phone to make requests. What a KJ normally does is they create a QR code. The patron will scan that QR code and they can start putting in requests. I have a web browser that is opened up to that page, and I'll use this like you would use your phone. So to begin with, you can search for a song or an artist. So I will look for the artist Elvis Presley, and as I type, the results will show up. I'll do another one. Orbison, Roy Orbison, there's a song there. It will list any matches in the screen there. And all you simply do is click on the song that you would like to request. And at that point, you can put in your name. And if you wish to change the key up or down, you can do that as well. Once you have that set up, you simply click Send Request, and that request will go off to the server. If we go back to Songboss now, you can see the request tab has turned into orange. So if we're managing our rounds, we'll get a visual indicator that there's a request waiting. So we can click on there, and if I click that request, it will show any matching tracks in our library. So for instance, if I had multiple versions of Roy Orbison, You've Got It, they will appear here. I may know my library very well. I may know that one particular version is better than another, and that gives me an opportunity to select which version that I'd like to actually submit on their behalf. It does say what vendor it is. It says this is the Zoom version. So if I did have a Zoom and a karaoke version, I may give them the version that they've specifically requested. But if I know there's another version that's better, I have the opportunity to override it. Even at this point, even though they haven't shifted the key, I still have the opportunity to change the key if I want to in this section here, before I actually add the song. Once I'm happy that that's the case, I can check, is this an existing singer or is it a new singer? So if I select Add an Existing Singer, I may realize that it's Harry that's submitting it, or it might be the Tuxter, so I can change it through here. So even though I've requested as the Tuxter, I have a singer in my queue that's called Tuxter. I know it's the same person. That way they won't be treated as someone new when I add that song. Once I add that song and we go back up to Tuxter, you'll see that it is now in their singer queue. To give another example, if I go Trilogy, American Trilogy, and I put this in for Kelly as a new singer, I request, it tells me that that song has been requested, and again you can see we've got that visual indicator. I'll select on Kelly, and you'll notice this time there are two different versions of that same song. I can see Kelly has requested the Carafun version, so if I want to keep the version that she's requested, I select that. If I want to change to another version, I can also do that and accept that song. If I go back into the rounds, you can see because Kelly's a new singer, she's been automatically placed in the current round because she doesn't have an existing song in that round. Additionally to the request system, we also have a history. Now these are the only three that have put in a request. So if I click on one of them, you can see Tuxter has their history here, Kelly has her history, and if we want to resubmit a song, for instance, we can just click on the one that we want and we can request that song. Now when we request, it will go through the request system just like they've requested it online. Additionally, patrons can use the online application to access the same information. So they can access the current queue. So if they're not in a position to see the ticker or in a position to see the crowd view where they can see all the singers, let's say they've gone outside, perhaps they're a smoker or something, they can, from a different room, open up their phone and have a look at where they are in the list, so they know when they're going to sing. We also have a history option. So if I select history and I type in one of these singers, let's say I type in Tuxter and I click the magnifying glass, it will show me my history. And if I click on that, then I can resubmit it again. It will remember the last name on the system, but if you're using it on your phone, it's probably only you and it will remember that singer. So then I can resubmit a song that I may have sung last week, for example.